Hi guys, and welcome to Motorscotty. Today's a great day after like years and years and years on working on cars just with jack stands and ramps. I finally made a step and bought myself a lift, and not any kind of lift, something that fits really well in a home garage, a Quickjack. So living in Switzerland and Europe in general, you can't just buy them. I mean, you don't really buy them directly from the US, this being an American product. There is a company, Quickjack Netherlands. I'll link to the website in the description. You can buy them from there, and they have all the different lifts available. This is the 5000 TL. Apparently this is a newer model. I think they had the XLS before. I don't know when exactly the TL came out. My cousin has a 5000 TL as well, and he's had it for I think 2 years, more or less. Anyhow, 5,000, or the number stands for the pounds, the capacity per pair. It says so, 5,000 pounds per pair, which is, here you have it in metric, 2,268 kilos per pair, exactly in metric. So this is way more than I need. I mean, this is just about what I need with a bit of margin for my cars, like the Firebird kit, I think, has about 1,500 kilos, and then the other cars, like with the more modern cars, you go up to 1,800, maybe 2,000. Not exactly, not gonna max it out. I'm not gonna do big trucks or pickups or things like this. But anyhow, I opted for the 5000 TL with the additional cushions and the obviously you have the pump, the hydraulic oil. I bought that also from Quickjack. You don't have to, but I just got everything I needed in one go. And yeah, let's do the unboxing and put it together and see if it works. Alright guys, everything is laid out here. So obviously in here we have the two jacks themselves, the lift. Then here appears to be the hydraulic pump that's gonna pump oil through and lift everything. Let's have a look at that in a second. Then here is the oil for the pump. There's some kind of cable. I opted for that. I wonder what oil it is actually. It's the Perlus Premium Hydraulic HVI. Alright, from Krone Oil. That's 1 liter, so 3 liters in total. Put this back in here. And then here we have those rubber adapters between the jack and the car itself. I got those. I wasn't sure whether the car itself, with the jack kit, the base kit itself, came with rubber adapters, but it seems to me that it does. These are just the blocks. So depending on how the frame is set up, or how the lift points of the car are, either you have just flat spots where you can use these blocks, or you have those flat metal lines on the side. Like, I would say, like, classic American cars have more like those flat spots with the frame on the inside of the car, where you use a flat surface to lift, or you lift on the flat surface, whereas like any European or Asian cars, usually like more modern cars, or I would say more modern from the 90s onwards, from what I remember, have those lines on the side, the frame lines, where you can just put those in, and if you have those, you have this indent, so it can kind of hold on the inner side here and on the outer side, kind of get a good grip on it, and then lift. Can use these. So I got these as well. Let's put them back in here for just time being. Here we have the lift itself. Get the cover off, and there's even more packaging. I have to say it's really neatly packaged. The whole thing, as you might have seen, was just on this platform here. It was delivered on a pallet. I asked the delivery guy from DHL to take the pallet with him again, because I have no need for it, and it's just gonna take up space in my garage. So looks like I'm gonna have to snip this off also. Here we go. There we have the Quickjack, 2 sides. So it's nicely packed, I have to say. You never know whether it's gonna arrive in good shape, because obviously these are made in the US and they're shipped to the Netherlands, and then they're kind of shipped wherever the customer is within Europe. And yeah, so we have that. We have the manual here. Let's go through this. I've watched a few videos on how to set those up in Quickjack. Also, when you buy them, in the confirmation of your order, sends you a link to how to set it up and how to bleed, because obviously we need to put the hydraulic oil in and then bleed the system so no air is trapped in the system, and it's all securely, and both lifts are actually lifting equally, you know, which is a must. Otherwise, car's gonna tilt, fall over, you injure yourself. Bad things happen. So let me just take everything out here and go through the manual, and then we can look at the next steps. Here we have the lift unpacked, and also the pump. That's the hydraulic pump, and in the pump package came obviously 3 hydraulic lines. 1, 2, 3. And then this package, I don't know what it is. What's this? Okay, all kinds of connectors. I'm gonna figure out how all of this goes together. Then 2 sets of blocks. Actually, I wasn't sure whether those were included in not just one size, but a second size in the lower blocks, flat blocks. And then obviously I have the ones I ordered extra on top that I showed you just before with the groove one, that's what it was. And now I have to kind of figure out how everything goes together. So give me a second to go through, and obviously the way that the Quickjack works is, get you on the other side, likewise, is that they lift up and forward. So you need to be cautious about where you set the car, when you have it here at the edge of your garage, and then the lift goes up. The lift will go, depending on which way you've set the lift, will go forward a bit, like up and forward, or up and kind of backwards, depending on which direction you set up the lift. So when you do that, when the car is already on the edge of the garage door and the doors, for instance, closed, and it goes up and back, so it would hit the garage door. So you just have to figure that out, which way you want to go, and be mindful of that. Also, when it goes forward here, I need to be careful that when it does lift, that it doesn't hit anything that's here in the front. All right, so let me just go through the manual, and then I'll get back to you. So I've laid out everything here. We have the different connectors. I've looked for the sizes here for metric. Need 17, 18, and 22 millimeters. The wrenches to put all of this together. We have the compressor here, the 2 main lines connected to the 2 small lines that go on to the Quickjack. And also we have the frame positioning handles here, so we can position the frame, or we can position the Quickjack to the frame of the car. Now I have to go through connecting all of this together, and already put on this handlebar here on the compressor itself with the 2 M6 Allen bolts down here. They also, in the package, there's a thread locker in there. That's really good. Alright, and then obviously the manual is pretty good. Also, an important message is that since we have your attention not to actually lift the car from the very bottom, you know, the lift can't, there's Frida, the lift can't actually lift the car from a completely flat spot, so it needs to kind of lift a bit. I'll have to go through it. It doesn't have the strength to just lift from the complete bottom up the whole car, so it needs to come up a bit before it actually touches the frame. So if you have a car which is basically on its discs or on its frame itself, where you can just about slide the frame under, it won't be able to lift, or even if it does, it's probably not very good for, probably not very good for the Quickjack. So we have all the components, we have all the dimensions for the different types of Quickjacks. I have the frequently asked questions. We can go over that. We can go through the checkup list and also the setup, the tools we need. And here is important how it's actually set up, what's going where, and important that also the lines here are set up under the jack, because obviously this frame is going to come up and you can't tear on you don't want to pull on the lines that is actually providing the pressure for the jack to go up. So make sure that these lines actually go under the frame here and connect it to the hydraulic cylinder. Alright, so here we have the hydraulic cylinder. I need to take this shipping plug off with a 6mm hex, it says in the manual. I've already lined up this hydraulic line underneath the frame. This is coming off. Like so. Alright. Then this L-shaped one goes on. I'm going to use a bit of thread locker that is also provided in the kit. And then the manual says to basically have it pointed, have it not like really pointed up because the line is going to come to it, but have it pointed just accessible, slightly up. So that's why you have a locking nut here. It's going to lift it just a little bit up, just like so. Then which one does it require? I think it's the 17 or 18, no, 18mm wrench. Tighten this snug. Like so. Then I can connect the small hydraulic line to it. Take this protection cover off, like so. The other one, also a little bit of thread locker. So, this is going on here. Maybe I'll take this down a notch, like so. This one is 17. I also just don't want to pull too strongly on it, break something. Make sure this fits in nicely. This doesn't seem to go all the way in though, as much as it could. Is this enough? Alright. Here we have a bleeder valve. Can you see it? This here is a bleeder valve. We'll worry about that once we fill the system up. And yeah, this is all tight. I mean, there's quite a bit of thread here to go, but it's also in quite a bit already. So for now, I'm gonna take this as okay. Do the other side. All right, as for the rest of the systems, we have the two long ones. They need those big fittings because the cables are here male and go into the female of this end bit. This is the big connector, the clip-in connector. Do these on both lines. And then we have the connector here on the pump itself, which are the small connectors. They will go in here and here. And then we can we need to connect those lines. So we have obviously here the female end of this and the male end of that one. So this will go on the short hydraulic line, and then everything can come together. Alright, all the connectors are installed. One thing I find a bit odd, I don't know if that's the way it's supposed to be. It's just like none of the fittings completely thread in completely, like I mean up to the end of the threads. It always goes like halfway or a little bit more than halfway, and then it stops. I really tightened this down good. Like you can see this here and here and everywhere. Actually it's the same, and you basically just have to pull. Oh, you have a little lock here, like so. Tuck, and then it disconnects. And here you have a little dust cap. And you can put back on, and this way either you can disconnect it here at the short line or at the compressor itself, and this way you can move around the frame themselves quite easily. Alright, the next thing I have to do is to pressurize the air cylinders. It says in the manual that it needs a pressure for between 40 to 50 psi, and under no circumstances to exceed the 50 psi or 3.4 bar. And then to also just to release the air that's in there, the pressure and the oil that might be in here. But if I do so, there's really nothing, no air pressure left. Just going to take a little screwdriver and see if there's more. Oh, there is a bit. Everything is out now. That's 45 psi. Let me do the same thing on the other side. Alright, just a quick thing before we move on to filling up the reservoir with the hydraulic fluid. So first of all, with the connectors, yes, it is normal that there's a little bit of thread sticking out. So Quickjack is obviously delivering this sealant liquid here, thread locker and sealant. It's actually sealant, not just thread locker, for these fittings. And what you can also do is use the sealant tape, but according to the manual, seal tape, well, Quickjack is not a huge fan of those. Also, you need to apply it properly, obviously, not just over the edge, but then properly just do like go around twice and then seal it. I know from my cousin who has the same model, who says he prefers, as far as I remember, he prefers the tape to the liquid because apparently this isn't really sealing properly. I've put it together for now. I think I'm going to leave it just for now and see if this holds. Otherwise, I'm going to have to take it apart and do this the sealant tape. And then also one thing I wanted to point out, it's in the manual as well, of course, that although both seem to look identical, they aren't exactly. You have those locking system, and they need to be on the outside. So first of all, the front is here where this big Quickjack tape is, and the whole thing will come up and over towards me like so. As you can see from the frame, it will kind of tilt upwards like this, and this section will come forward. So this is one thing. The second thing is that those locking devices, those lockers, need to be on the outside. So the right one has this on the right side facing forward, and the left one obviously on the left one. They need to be on the outer side. That's it. This is the fluid reservoir. It's empty now, the whole system is empty. Looks like I've 28. Opening this up. Yeah, the fluid level should be approximately 0.5 inch or 12 millimeters below the fill hole when the Quickjack is fully lowered. I've actually changed my mind. I'm putting thread sealant tape on all the fittings now before I first apply, because I don't want to have tested and see that it leaks and take everything apart and then just have fluid come out everywhere. So I'm going to do it now while it's still dry. Alright, all the fittings are taped up. I think it was just good measure to do this because I just don't trust this sealant, just applying this, like, I don't know. I know that the tape works. So let's fill up the fluid reservoir and go from there. Looks about halfway full. But obviously with the lines empty, it'll need a bit more than just 2 cans. It's about 2 centimeters, 1.5. Can add a little bit more. Let's clean this up a little better. Close it up. Then it says to open it up half a turn before use, so air bubbles can come out. Oh, here's a little mistake I make. So this doesn't have a breather valve, it has a self-venting cap, so this doesn't need to be loosened. As you might see in the manual here, some have a breather valve, which need to be loosened half a turn before use, and some just have a self-venting cap, which is this one. So this doesn't need to be loosened because the venting cap inside is already doing the job. So just tightening this snug by hand, and then I think we can proceed to the bleeding procedure. All right, so first of all, to bleed this, everything is set up. I've plugged it in, oil is in. So they want me to, well, they say to put actually 2 big blocks and 1 small blocks together and put them under the frame here, just under the bleeder screw. And this Allen key was provided with the fluid. Obviously, it's an imperial size. The metrics one don't work. It's something between 4 and 5 millimeters. It's the I forgot the size. 3/16 inch hex key, Allen key, which neither the 4 or the 5 will fit, so you have to use that one. And then we're just gonna put this aside, lift up the jacks, put them under those blocks so the air can actually come up to the top side, and then we can proceed with the bleeding. All right, let's press it. Let's press up. Bring this over a bit. That pressure. Oh, it's coming up. Coming up. It says to about 20 millimeters. Then bleed it. Some kind of rag. There's the bleeder screw. Air coming out. Make sure not to clamp your hands in there. Same thing on the other side. hissing air. Still air coming out. So you can see the jack coming down a bit. I'm closing him up again. So lift. And every time you lower it, obviously I'm just going to lift it up again now. And bleed. But then to make sure that when you do lower it, to close the venting bleeder screw. Otherwise it's going to suck in air again, so everything would be for nothing. Going down, I'm actually going to bleed until oil is coming out. There's coming out now. Closing it again. Same thing over here. There's oil coming out now. Up again. Vent again. So the oil coming out. Obviously the bleeder screw is facing down now, so there might still be air in. Close it again. I like how in those videos from Quickjack and everything, obviously they make it fast paced and 5 minutes everything is set up. And this might be a little more boring to watch, but at least you get the real life experience. Okay, I've tightened the bleeder valves. Going down. Oh no, I think now it's... Is it locked in? No, it isn't. Alright guys, it's the next day. It's actually logical that the lift wouldn't go down when you just press the down button and there's no weight on the lift. Obviously it comes down by the pressure of the vehicle, and so what I did, I just pressed the down button. And set on each lift individually to bring it back down. I also looked at the different video on how to bleed the system completely a bit quicker is by just completely removing removing the bleeder screw and then lifting the lift and letting it out. So I'm going to do that. Now that the lifts are down again, I'm just going to top off the fluids and then do another session of bleeding and we should be good. Obviously now there's oil in the lines, so top it off. Half an inch, 12mm below the top of the reservoir. And that's where we're closing. Let's remove the opening, the bolt completely. I don't think there's much air left, to be honest. It's already coming out. Closing this. On the other side. Check this out. It's hissing. bleed it again. I think it's pretty much good now. Just gonna do the bleeding again on the other jack, on the other Quickjack on the right side. Maybe one more time for both of them. But I think we're pretty much done here with bleeding. Okay, so everything is set up in the middle now. So I can drive in with the car and we can test it. Well guys, yet another day has passed since I just brought the Jag in and wanted to test it for the Quickjack, but look at what has happened. I drove it in and aligned the Quickjack, and we can see that out here the rear is positioned at the right place to where the lift mount is, here. But then in the front, get some light. This is way too short. I mean, the lift point is here, and it should, I mean, there's this much. Let me just get my meter. So you can see there's just about 30 centimeters missing. Obviously this is super annoying. I mean, I could have done some measurements before buying this. On the other side, I'm gonna probably keep the Quickjack much longer than I will keep this Jag. Don't say it too loud. But it is annoying. I've googled the thing. I went into forums, also Jagger forums, with people that have the X250 and the Quickjack, and obviously ran into the same problem. Even the 7000 model is too short. And then there is obviously the option to get the extension rack to put it on the Quickjack, from Quickjack, the extension, and even with that it's a bit short. So there's just, I mean, I think the 5000 is good for most cars, kind of middle range compact, smaller compact, and kind of a little bit more. But unfortunately it doesn't work for the XF, so I can't test it with this one. So most important thing is, will it work with kit? Anyhow, that's gonna be a wrap for this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Please, this is to be continued. In the next part, I'm gonna show how it's working with kit, with the Firebird. It's a different setup with the frame. I've already done some measurements. It should work, but let's find out then. All in all, Quickjack's really easy to put together. I know it kind of looks like it takes a lot of time just doing this, but I've kind of went through it step by step and wanted to make sure that all the connections are put together correctly and taped up properly, so there is no leak. And now it should be good. With the frustration from yesterday evening, I used my energy to tidy up my garage even more, get rid of all the cardboard here. So that's, at least we're ready to work in this place again. Thank you very much for watching. Stay tuned. See you next time. Bye.